How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Sorry, my voice is scratchy. The reason is I just watched the Celtics, and I feel it's a very good explanation at this point. Open up the chat. Probably not going to be a lot of people in here tonight. Probably not going to be a lot of people in here tonight, but appreciate anybody that is. I haven't looked at models since for the last 6 hours, so we'll zoom in here. But I think we're gonna make the snow map. We're gonna make the snow map. So that should making a snow map is always fun. And then we're just gonna see what models have done. How have we changed? A lot of the trends. Some of the trends were to slide this out a little bit faster, which was not as good over the past 24 hours. It turns out the NAM continued to get away from itself. And you can see, NAM is just, is it that much more or less reserved? It looks it to me just in the beginning. I lost everybody already. Jeez. Was that bad? Did I say? I don't know if I said something wrong, but not ideal. Actually, that's not bad. Oh, that is wicked north. Is that just... Yeah, we're still getting these kind of big changes the night before. Not making it easy to predict. Are we having technical issues? I'm not muted, am I? No, I can hear. I don't think there's technical issues. Is my voice being distorted right now? Or do I sound fine? Sounds fine. Thank you. Oh, YouTube. Filled up in YouTube. Okay. Let's see. Let's place out the zoom. I gotta zoom out again, man. Too close. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna get a good band, right? That initial band, right, will struggle. We'll struggle to reach the ground a little bit. Probably will get dried out a little bit, and then that next band that works through at 700. This one in the afternoon is gonna come through. Probably with a real good thump. So you can see, watch right here, all the way across upstate New York. Or boom, this band is just gonna thump right out in front. And it's gonna push northeast, and people are going to thump, and that's how they're probably going to get most of their snowfall totals are probably going to happen. From a band like this. Let's get closer. Was it the high change? Is that what got us? There we go. How we do with that pressure? I mean, it looked much more progressive on this run, yet much more progressive. Yet we're holding this back more. So that's some of the changes. That was from 18Z to 0Z. Notice we're holding back. This could be a little bit of convective feedback, possibly, but we're holding our convection back more on the eastern edge of our storm, allowing a little bit more consolidation of our convection on the east side of our system. And the east side of our system is literally everybody in here. So yes, it does matter. I'm not going to go too far in depth because I don't want to spend like a half hour looking at every little change. I did that earlier today. I want some soundings is what I want. Some soundings. I would do with the rain snow line. Let's see. Changes rain snow line. Well, we were at first holding the convection together until we weren't. A little bit colder on this run with the NAM. And initially we had our convection more put together, and then eventually, no, not so much, because we were more progressive. We were much more progressive at 500. That was the first thing I noticed, and that ended up being true. So it's more snow for places further south on the NAM, but further north, less banding for these areas, less stronger banding. NAM 3K. Yeah, NAM 3K much more progressive as well. I mean, if the NAM's really, dude, I am not in the mood to be tested right now. Not in the mood. Not in the mood to be tested.
Where should I really start? I got that I'm hiding in the dark.
Yeah, NAM 3K is a disaster for Southern New England. Is it? I mean, compared to the last run, I mean, I couldn't get. Yikes. It was so blotchy. Not very well put together. Again, we're colder on this run. It's just we're sacrificing a lot heavier precipitation when we do that. Well, let's take some soundings. It's that band that comes through, and that is horrible. Seriously. I mean, like, listen, come on. We got great lift, or not great, but good forcing all the way through, and then right in our dendritic growth zone. Yeah. Not exactly ideal on that sounding. Maybe I just one spot. Let's verify. Nope. For some reason, we just do not have good forcing. That's better. Maybe this is subsidence on the backside of a band, possibly. That's better. Okay. Right, here's much better, right? -1 omega. Pretty cold, right? Especially 925. We're rather cold. Holding back. We're about -6, -7 at 925, and we never really get past -3 or 4 all the way down through the mid levels. So pretty decent. We start a little high with the dendritic growth zone, so not ideal. We're a little warm in our upper and mid levels, which is unfortunate. So I thought we were going to get a little bit fluffier of snow than last storm, but it probably still will be. It will be closer to a 10-1. It will be not quite as heavy and wet, but it looks like we're still going to be holding on to a pretty, a closer 10-1, but still it could be somewhat of a wet snow for some people, especially closer to the coast. Here we have really good lift in the upper levels of our atmosphere, and then we get to our dendritic growth zone. It's not as much, but again, we'll saturate it on all of these soundings. So which is the good news. How does this compare to the last one? I guess this is better than last one, but we really break apart precipitation here. I mean, I don't know if are we really gonna break apart this much precipitation? Are you kidding me? Southeast ridge, dynamic upper level low. We're gonna get a transfer going. I don't know if we're gonna dry out this much in between our rain and snow. I mean, typically our transition usually with these events with warm air advection is usually our transition is on the front, and alongside the front there's pretty heavy precipitation. This is strange. A little strange. NAM 12K picking up on that too. Is HRR as well? HRR not as much. All right, this makes more sense. Yeah, I don't agree with this. I doubt it's going to be it's on the other side of that on one side of the front. On the other side of this front, it is going to be just thumping snow, So I don't think we're going to be this dry. I don't really agree with that. So this is probably all snow. I don't see us being that dry. That'd be shocking. You don't see. I can't remember the last time we had a warm air advection event where our changeover was during a light period of precipitation. That just almost never happens. I mean, we really hold on to the cold air good. You can see you see the cold air. This classic cold air damming, holding on to that cold air. I mean, some of that is elevation, but really holding on to that cold air nicely. And let's see. Let's get a couple soundings. Yeah, not bad. Well saturated through our dendritic growth zone, some decent lift. That's probably heavy, moderate snow right here in the sounding through this band. Let's check in on our. I can't get 700 volt on this. Yeah, this band's gonna thump across New York State. It'll probably be a little bit better further to the west. Let's check on PA. Yeah, not bad. Not great forcing, not great omega values in our dendritic growth zone. There you go. There's a sounding. Look at this here in upstate New York, right? So we have really go to omega all the way through pretty much into almost into the lower levels of our atmosphere, right? -1 to -2 omega all the way through the upper levels into the mid levels of our atmosphere. Super well saturated, right? Here's our dendritic growth zone. A little bit colder too. We like that. 500 millibars compared to 450, much better. And -10 is a little high, but not bad. 5 to 600, not pretty close to an average dendritic growth zone, so not bad. And then we stay pretty cold throughout our sounding, and then all the way down to 28 degrees too at the surface. So that's a really good sounding. This is definitely heavy snow, probably thumping 1 to 2 inches per hour with that kind of sounding, because probably pretty decent snow growth too at 10 to 1. Yep, another good one. That's more heavy snow right there. I'm curious about this first batch. Are we going to be decently saturated? But I would prefer to be in the dendritic growth zone. We're doing okay, but I prefer to be just a little bit more saturated in the mid levels here, so we can get some more. So that we don't get those snowflakes to crystallize too much as they're getting down to the surface. Or dry out too much. stay nice and moist so they can accumulate. Not too wet, right? We don't want super wet snowflakes, but we also don't want, like, I don't want to make that appear like, wet snowflakes are better for snow accumulation, but we want to stay the more saturated we can to our temperature. Probably not too impactful because that's not where our snowflakes are being made on the upside, because our dendritic growth zone was pretty saturated, not the biggest, but typically you want to stay as saturated as you can throughout the whole column. Really good upper level moisture, really good upper level, well saturated. The upper levels, they have more moderate. It's like a good moderate, heavy moderate sounding right here. We don't even get past -5 all the way down until around 950, right? -5's around right here, right? Don't even get past -5. So probably some pretty good snow growth in the beginning, even those temperatures at the surface will be probably upper 20s, low 30s for most people, which is good news. So like this, and these are the things you kind of account for. You're probably wondering, why are we just looking at soundings? Because soundings give a really good idea for what's actually happening in these bands. And so a lot of times when you just look at model snowfall maps, you just look at the numbers and think that's what the system is. That's what's happening from the system. But really, we talked about this the other night. It's just model ratio, or last night, whatever. It's just internal model ratio calculations based on temperatures in the column. It doesn't quite account for mid-level, mid-level dynamics, how much omega we have, and all those two main different factors. It doesn't account for that, and it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for me as a forecaster, to try to explain that. It's not, I guess, I don't know if difficult is the right word to use, but it's hard for me to see so many people just buy into those snowfall maps and use them as gospel when there's other factors that go into it. Because we can look at all these, we can go back and forth. We can just look back and forth at the changes, but it's not going to necessarily get us anywhere, right? We just flip back and forth between snowfall maps. It's not necessarily the most beneficial thing to do. It doesn't exactly get us the most amount of knowledge about what's happening in the setup compared to if you break down 500, 700, then look at the P-type maps, see how it compares to the mid-levels, and then see the changes, and then evaluate also the soundings that you see, and then try to get those to match up. And if they look, and obviously there's probably going to be something off with the soundings, right? I think a good example is not necessarily something wrong with the soundings. I'm just saying something off between the soundings and the snowfall map. Typically what we'll see is, an event like December 17th, 2020. That storm was a classic example of not even Kachera doing it justice, picking up really cold. We had really cold temps in place. But what models were lacking to pick up on was the fact that our dendritic growth zone, the omega in our dendritic growth zone, was off the charts. And those were really prolific soundings, and we were really cold. And combine those two together, you're going to get some pretty ridiculous snowfall rates, and that's what models failed to pick up on. And that's why everyone saw more snow than expected. And for anyone that did pick up on that, weren't exactly bold enough to be able to put that snow map out. Mostly was just not picking it up. But just look back and forth at these and just compare run to run. It doesn't get you. Necessarily as far as, I don't want to say like I'm above anything, but it doesn't get you as far as, for example, what I do in breaking down 500, 700, then also looking at P-type maps to see how they compare, like I said, that soundings, etc. Right? There's all these different factors that you got to look at when making a snowfall map or trying to figure out how much snow is going to fall. That's a pretty good band. The best, looks like the strongest lift, though, in this band is going to be across upstate New York. Was it further east before? It was a little bit further east before, but not ridiculously further east. Alrighty. GFS, let's take a look at 700. I'm curious about this banding. GFS really has a well put together band here. Yeah, oh, that's interesting. GFS has a really well put together band here. Look at this. I mean, thumping on the other side of this band right now. Thumping. Right, so it'll look like that. Kind of broke up, and then band double. It's really part of the same band. Look at 500. Yeah, we gotta be thumping. We gotta be thumping on this. Really? Nothing? Are we what? Are we dry? A little bit, I guess, but in the dendrit, not in the dendrit growth zone whatsoever. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to 700, and we're gonna figure this out. GFS. I mean, we should be thumping. And I don't. Okay. No, we're thumping. That's heavy snow right there. That's a heavy snow sounding right there. That's just next northeast of Albany. It's not as consolidated. Okay, that's too much. That's this much dry air though at 4 p.m. We're gonna have. You seriously? Oh, there's 3-hour intervals though, so this may be well. Is this better put together than the next frame or something? I mean, that band is just moving so fast. In 3 hours, our band here, I mean, moving. The storm's hauling. Oh, was this 12Z? I didn't take 12Z GFS, did I? Alright, yeah, that was 12Z. Still, same thing applies. Here you go. Much more well saturated. Yeah, that's a good moderate, heavy moderate snow band right there. Too dry. Pretty well saturated. A little bit of a dry in between right there. Awkward. When we bring it together just a little late. I mean, how's this compared to last time? Heavier with the precipitation. I care less about the rain. I do care about the rain snow line, but I'm trying to figure out how heavy the precip is pointing again. I would prefer the beginning of that transfer just going a little bit sooner. Something we couldn't get, it looks like, sadly. I mean, we were thumping in this band before. It's unfortunate. All right. I think I have a decent idea of what I want to do. I still haven't looked at OBS though. I still haven't looked at OBS. How does this compare? Let's take a look at some observations. Listen, if it were up to me, I would have been more organized, but was busy earlier. 10:04. How do we compare? Low pressure. 10:02, 10:04. Couple mil off. Still picked up on a 10:02, even though it was 10:04. None of these models wanted to pick up on the fact that it was a 10:04. We doing on radar. Look. Hesitant. My thoughts are all over the place with this one. This one for me, just for days, it seemed so straight cut and forward. I thought I had a clear idea on what I wanted to do, and the models have just messed up with everything. What I really want to do right now is just say F it. F all these little nuances, and just it's gotten me so far away from where I was with the general nature of the setup. And usually it's the little nuances is what makes me the forecaster I am. Trying to pick up all these little things makes me a better forecaster. But I don't know if it's just going to be worth it if I'm going to drive myself crazy over picking up over all these little things to the point where I'm going to be wrong anyways at this. I better just on not disregarding what's happening with the models, but man, Southeast Ridge, cold air in place, transfer of an upper level low right off the Atlantic. You're really telling me we're going to be we're going to be super dry? We're going to be dry? I don't buy this. I don't disagree a lot with models with the cold air. Models just cannot seem to agree on having cold air and heavy precip in the same run right now. They just can't. It seems impossible to do right now for models, and it's super, super frustrating. So here, I'm just gonna go with my guns. I'm just gonna stick to my guns. What I had, and I pull up here. My process here with snowfall maps is I pull up all the snow maps to see where it has the rain snow line, and then I compare that to my thoughts. I already know what totals I'm going to use before when I make my snowfall maps. On the bright side too, with my snowfall map, I already laid out my coding to 2 area. So I spoiled the first part of my graphic, but I already laid out that whole area. So it will take snow map will take a little bit quicker. I don't know much, but definitely take less time. I don't agree with the 0ZHR whatsoever, but whatever. How does this compare to 18Z? I know we're colder, but I just don't know we're going to be that de-amplified. And I don't know I think we're going to have slightly better dynamics. I know what models are showing at 700. And the 700 dynamics look even the 7. I think the 700 dynamics could potentially be even better. I think the moisture could be even better, and I don't think models are even picking up well enough on what the 700 dynamics are showing right now on models. I mean, we look at the NAM. I'm gonna stick to my guns. And listen, we're gonna have. It's part of being a forecaster and part of being an athlete too, is irrational confidence. Not dumb confidence, but rational confidence and self belief um, in what you're saying and what you're doing. Because you trust your process, you trust the work you put in, and then not getting worked up. Here's what we're gonna do. Take a look here at 700 at the NAM. First of all, this band, we should be there. We should get something here tomorrow morning. There should be something here. It may not, and I don't know what, we may not be super well saturated, but I look for a band tomorrow morning. Hudson Valley, upstate New York, southern New England. Look for a band. And then this band, I mean, come on. That's gonna thump. Look at our 700 dynamics here. Look at this. It is going to thump, especially right here. It is going to thump, but also too, right? We have this our band here. We should be thumping. Thumping. I'm telling you, plenty well saturated. I don't think these are. How did we compare to last run? I mean, even more the previous run and all these other runs too. Such a well put together warm air advection band. And we're not gonna have anything to work with in our transit. I find that hard to believe. I'm surprised, honestly. Honestly, shocking. At least for me. This is what I would expect, right? Notice in between, right? More cold air meets more warm air, and then this is our mix line right here. This is where we mix. So anything behind this band is now where we're full on mix, and it's just not as prevalent on the next run. I'm gonna lean more. I think we're gonna get the cold air redo on the 18Z or on the 0Z, along with the dynamics on the 0Z. When it comes to the NAM. And listen, I'm not saying the NAM the only right model or something, but I'm looking for models that I right now when I'm trying to make my contour lines, models that line up most with what I'm thinking in terms of thoughts. Like I'm cherry picking model runs that for me make the most sense. Cherry picking in a good way that make the most sense, and then I can, um, not copy and paste. I match. Listen, just because the model is the closest doesn't mean I still think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I have to make some changes. But if I can find the closest model runs I can, and to my thoughts, makes it easier for me to make my snowfall map. Alrighty. Yeah, but actually here I use positive snowfall depth. I like using in between though a lot of times with Gutierrez. But again, remember model internal ratios are not going to match up a lot of times. So I'm going to actually go back to Kachera. I'm going to go back to Kachera because I don't think models are tight enough for the dynamics we're going to have in that band. Always got to remember not to get too caught up in switching in last second thoughts to models the night before. Just because the model is closer to the event, that doesn't mean it's more right always. Or ideally, it should be more right, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily. Yeah. All right. All right. No. Back. There we go. Let's do it. Oh, this is my 2 to 4. Because this is coded into 2 and then 2 to 4 as well. Alrighty. Back up. The precision here with the rain snow line. The precision that has to take place. Again, in order not to get crucified, not copy and pasting the model run. Simply trying to find the model I agree with the most or is closest to my thoughts, and then I make my own changes based on that. But I don't like to look at bullcrap. Making progress now. Oh, maybe I'll let people know I'm making the snow map now. If they are curious. Alright, we can draw this all the way up and through. Now we gotta be precise. And my mic is super sensitive, so my voice probably just got pretty loud. Not. Damn it, that's gonna look messy. I actually, listen, I want a snowstorm as much as the next person, and I will take it whenever Mother Nature has it planned. But for my mental sanity, I am going to need a break. Because listen, I love winter, and I will take it, and I'm never going to deny it. But I don't know if my mental sanity is at the expense of 1 to 3 inch and 3 to 6 inch snowstorms. Six to 12 and 12 to 18-inch snowstorms, absolutely. I can screw mental sanity. I will take that any day of the week. Whenever it comes, not a question. But for 1 to 3, 3 to 6 inch storms, I'm not sure if it's worth it. So that's why I so heavenly ask Mother Nature, listen. Hook us up with that 12 to 18 incher snowstorm. Hook us up. But not, not give us the rest of the week off. How about that? So I can get some more sleep. Ideally, we can get our 2 foot. I can finally get a 2 foot snowstorm this week. Ideally, I don't know if it's gonna happen. But could use it. Okay. Oh no, we gotta fill this in. There we go. I'm thinking of changing up the colors just a tad bit. Not saying, excuse me, scratchy. Not saying change up the color scheme completely, but get a little bit more diverse with the purples and blues than just the same old blues. So let's get a little diverse here. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go layer, new layer, boom, bam. Listen, I'm telling you, over the next few weeks, we're gonna have some chances. Bar, you got connections? I need some connections, man. I gotta get on Mother Nature's good side again. I think we started to work something out, this past week with the 5 to 6 inches of snow we got. All right, let's see. What color do we want to pick? Let's see. Gotta decide how dark of a blue and what we think. Should we go here? A little bit purplish. How dark of a blue should we go? Purple. Or I don't want to go straight into purple. Maybe around here. Let's see. Let's do a test run. It's a little close. Worried about a snowless winter in Maryland? I mean, listen, I don't think you'll go snowless. You'll probably get something at some point, and honestly, within the next couple, I think there's a better chance of involving everybody the next couple of weeks. Yeah, we'll go one shade darker. Well, I kind of like this. I like the way it bounces on this color scheme, to be honest. Layer, new, boom, boom, boom. I don't think it'll be a snowless winter for Mid-Atlantic. There's always a round of suppression. Jeez, I need another drink. Miami Heat 15-0 in the fourth quarter. That will do it to my voice. I think I'm gonna like this color. All right, now this is 4 to 8. See, I would prefer 3 to 7, but 3 to 7 is a little too much leeway. NYC, yeah, not a beautiful winter for New York City so far. Definitely not. But I think it can be on the mend. There'll be some opportunities. So don't give up yet. Don't give up yet. Never give up until the buzzer hits 0. Never give up. That doesn't mean be irrash. That doesn't mean be stupid. But I don't think it's ever worth giving up till that clock hits 0. Especially when it's not. There's nothing historically awful, and we haven't even really got the polar vortex involved yet. So, and we're gonna get that over the next couple of weeks potentially. So, do I want to do that? I don't know if I wanted to come that northeast. But we'll have opportunities, and we'll look at them in a second. I promise. After the snowfall map, we'll talk about the next snow chance. stay patient, everybody, with the winter. Stay patient. All right, we're gonna get snow tomorrow, so maybe New York City gets their first. Maybe they get a tenth of an inch. It's better than zero. It's kind of a joke, but it's not. You never know. Maybe this is the price to get a 3 foot snow. You never know. Oh no! That is not clean. Trying to really get precise here. I'm so close to the mic right now. You may be able to hear me breathe. That's how close I am to the mic right now. That was such a clean. We did that really clean too, and just. I love that bar, man. So here's the beautiful thing. The one good thing with these interior storms is I don't have to think really too much about the border. Although, listen, I already have to think enough about these little lines right here, so I guess I wouldn't mind being done with the interior storms. I probably spend more time on this. Actually, no, that's a lie. I spend so much extra time, and for some reason, when I try to draw this over the county lines, it just didn't show up, or over the state lines. Just wouldn't show up. I'm okay with Photoshop, but not an expert. Appreciate everyone that is watching right now too. I don't take it for granted the fact you're staying up this late to watch me make this means a lot. I really can't thank you guys. Don't you guys make me a better forecaster, believe it or not. All the questions you ask, all the streams we do to make sure I understand everything so I don't look like an idiot. I mean, not that I am an idiot, but I'm certainly not a genius. If I was a genius, I wouldn't have had so many C's and B's on my forecast this year. Only one A. First A took a long time. Precision, man. Precision. I say it every time I make one of these. Beautiful. Beautiful. Man, I really thought Philly, New York City were going to have a better shot. And maybe they do. Maybe models are super wrong. But man, I really thought New York City it was going to happen. Again, maybe it still does. But man, we better save this just in case something crazy were to happen. I don't want to do all that work again. It's unfortunate. This was a good setup for it to happen too. Like it's not a good setup for it snow, but it was with the cold air in place to get some. All right, now we got to really figure out who's getting over 8 inches, or maybe we'll do like a 7. All right, we know Maine. We're definitely gonna be going into Maine with this one. We're gonna be going into Maine for sure. Okay. Yeah, I was too. I was super confident. I mean, I didn't see with that. Models slowly kept pushing the high further and further east. Kept pushing that vort further and east. Got it out sooner and sooner and sooner. It was slowly too. It was very subtle, consistently throughout each model runs. And then we got more progressive along that. I'm telling you, everything in this was all connected. There's a whole crapshoot was connected. Everything. And with so many pieces connected, it made it actually really volatile. And there was so much going on. Look how much we have going on here. Right? We had the initial piece that had to get out that was connected to the edge, right? This was all connected, working. We had this slop in between here. We had a new piece coming down to interject with the tail end of this piece that wasn't even super well connected to the main part of our upper level low. And when all this happened, right, our upper level low, right, and the new upper level low forming here on the transfer, along with our southeast ridge in place, we just went around the world right there. Just went around the world is what we did. And there's so many. It was much more volatile setup than I thought it was. And hey, we learned. It's not, and maybe the cold air does win out enough, and we get enough good heavy rates that New York City can get an inch or two of snow, or like a half inch, or even I think New York City will take a quarter inch at this point. But beside the point, I really thought this was going to be a much better setup, but just didn't develop. I mean, I was so sure, not blindly sure, but I was confident based on the setup that it was going to be 1 to 3, 2 to 4. We just had such good cold air in place, and the placement of that, I said, bearing anything drastic, and it wasn't drastic. It was methodically drastic, slowly over time, and the change was enough in terms of models we're handling the upper level energy. Even once we got it sampled too, that was the thing. We had our energy sampled, and then we saw some significant changes. So that was the frustrating part. The fact we had all of our energy on the mainland, all of our upper level energy on U.S. mainland or Canada, populated Canada, and we couldn't in our. It was still that messed up. That was the frustrating. That's frustrating part. Listen, you don't want to rely on models, but you want to have you know, some reassurance that when you get all the energy sampled on the U.S., it does. You don't get a complete muck up like this. Listen, it was slowly adjusted, to the change. So I give him credit for not just drastically changing every run, but slowly a little bit more painful. And maybe models are continue to be wrong up until the event, and then maybe we do get what we want, like I said. But still not super optimistic though. I guess for the past 18, 24 hours, I got pretty less optimistic last night when I saw models for New York City, but still left out a little bit of hope. Okay. We're going to do a 7 to 12. That's what we're going to do. And we're not going to draw it with that, that's for sure. I think a slight chance. Not flip a coin kind of chance, but a chance. I'd probably favor the northern side of the city too. Wherever the hills, the west side would favor the. Listen, I'm not saying you're going to get anything, but I wouldn't go into the event saying there's a zero chance of getting snow. I wouldn't go into the event thinking that. Yeah, we're going to the pink. I said we were going to change up the color scheme. We did a little bit, technically new colors, but not as much as I thought we were going to, sadly. Alrighty. Start up in Maine. Oh yeah, this is gonna look cool. Why even? If I have 4 to 8, I doubt anyone in Mass is going to see. And anyone in this part of Mass is going to see more than 8 inches. That was not clean. Burlington calling for downsloping. It's not the right setup for it. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most experienced when it comes to the northern Vermont terrain. It's certainly a possibility. I can understand why they think that. You get caught in basically bad side of subsidence. You get caught in between or just on the wrong side of the terrain, and that can mess with it. So that's definitely a thing that could mess with the forecast, with your forecast specifically. But it could be enough. We could have enough. I mean, look at this band here. I mean, you're gonna thump away in that at a minimum. That's gonna take its time too, getting past. I mean, just look how long you might snow for. When that band pushes through, there's no way you're not gonna thump. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't include you in like the 7 to 12 that I'm gonna do, but I think you should be okay still to get a pretty good amount of snow. Funny, I said I wasn't gonna like mess with the forecast too much. I'm really not. I still got you getting like 4 to 8 for whoever is in that YouTube chat, but from Burlington. But I am going to favor it a little bit. I just still have trouble, lower terrain with some mid-level warmth eventually being able to hold off. Maybe not that much. Account for terrain. Boy, welcome to the party. Perfect timing for some drink.
like night and day. I can see it like right away. I came up, you changed up, I caught that whole way. Since there's never been the same. That's when they smile in my face. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. Whole time they wanna take my place. No, they wanna take my place. I can tell that love is fake. I don't trust a word you say. How you wanna click up after your mistakes? Look you in the face and it's just not the same. I've been down so long they look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me. Straight up to my face. Straight up to my face. I've been down so long they look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me. Straight up to me.
Okay. We're sticking to my guns.
And more chill for your head top, so watch how you speak on my name, you know?
Yeah, we're not going to need that one.
Major distribution and my label on my dick. With your friend and she ain't telling y'all. I've been out here crushing on success, now she my friend. You say I'm persuasive, girl, but you can't spell that. In this mansion, I'm a call me, pay the full, I'm a high fight, do the top, now it's live, tell me all night. My business, business, out of spite. And it's all night. Double price to keep on my life. In a business office, Magic City need a business office. 29, I keep a business office. I'm in love with Houston, Dallas, Austin. Tell you guys to hold up on the team change. Seem like they may need money for the office. Cute girl, family, crime, coffee. Major distribution, little coffee. This will coffee 500 things just for Aubrey. Yeah, major distribution, how I pop it. Mention me to be the hottest topic. Same place you singing, shopping. Try to play it, like to play it cool, play me like I'm sweet. No, not my nigga. That she missed the goal, and I take the phone. Yeah, I'm stepping. Y'all should keep this girl prepared. Guess I'm 90, this is not clear. Like I IG model run my hands. He goes,
Alright, so we did switch up the color some. I want to look at the pattern in a second too. No, whoa. Actually, we're going to need to switch that up anyway, so might as well do that now. Birds with one stone. I'd prefer to do that area in a 1 to 4, but whatever. Screw it. I'm gonna whatever. That's fine. I'll have some balls. No, I knew we were missing something. Okay. No. I forgot one more thing. Do it. There we go. I wonder if I should make this darker. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's fine.
Don't start no trouble with me. Try to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you love it on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some others that outlive me. They gon' tell the story that was different to me. God's plan, God's plan. I hope that
I don't think I have any mess ups. Correct me if I do, chat. If I messed up anywhere. Besides the actual map. I know I messed up somewhere on the map. And more literal. Dates or numbers, letters, whatever.
Bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish. Bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish. She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom. I'm sorry. 50 dub. I even got it tatted on me. Anyone that bring the questions to the party. Hey, you know me. Turn the O2 into the O3. I play Ollie, Debbie know me. Acting if I never met the Roskies. I swear, I can't do this on my own. It's a lot of bad things. They wish and wish and wish and wish and wish and bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish and wish and wish. Then I spin it on you. And my jaw like a crystal ball. When I pull up, make a wish. Making a profit. Big boy, yeah, and I'm that. Hold me a kick in this toxic. You're keeping it that I can fast. Hold me a kick in this that I can fast. Get better than they copy. I give them the highs. Big time I slide. That's good to tip and shoot them inside. Brand new coupe, no mileage. I show the gang and we high five. She give me face in the break. They send me a shoot by the trade. Walking my diamond on skate. They try to rip out, I'm too late. I put a cape on the Drake.
Alrighty. Alright, that's up for all you folks to see. And I'm gonna have to look at odds tomorrow, but we're just gonna cancel out a bunch of stuff here. My mind is so worn down right now. There's a lot of stuff for me, for my mind to think about. Too much, almost. We'll take a look. I guess we'll briefly look at observations. Mm, okay. Well, I'm not sure how much of this is being broken up, but we are getting precip all the way back into Iowa. So I'm not sure. This is probably a little bit of Virga on the edge here, but we are getting some pretty good precip all the way back into southern Iowa. So there's the bright side of potentially being a little bit more amplified. Ideally, we are somewhere in between that 18Z and 0Z run. Let's see what HRR did. First of all, how do we compare to previous? I mean, seriously, in 1 hour they messed up that bad? Seriously, HRR, in 1 hour you couldn't be better? That's beside the point. Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm never gonna look at this model. This model is so trash. It sucks so bad. I can't even begin to tell you. That model is so horribly bad. That FV3 high res model, like I think that's like it's supposed to be some sort of American model GFS high res, something connected to it. It is so bad. I don't know if it's connected to the GFS, some sort of American. Listen, there's a lot of crap in America. The FV3 is another piece of crap of American. It is so bad. I can't even begin to tell you. That model shouldn't even be allowed on Tropical Tidbits. They should lock it up in a cell. 60 to life. And that model should never be allowed to be looked at by anyone, anywhere. It is horrible. Horrible. I mean, listen, it's worse than the Icon. It's worse than the Icon. The Icon might be a better mesoscale model than the FV3. The FV3 is so bad. I could go on a whole freaking tangent, which I already have, but now I'm not focused on what I'm doing. But that model's so horrible, man. It is awful. Just awful. New York City, awful. Just awful. Trying to compare P-type maps can be difficult many times, but we'll attempt to do it. Are we slightly more amplified with the precip? I hope so. There we go. That looks a little bit better, at least I think. We'll find out. Yeah, we are. Okay. There's a good run change. I can't tell you why the model made any of these changes, because for some reason you can't look at anything. You can't look at mid-level dynamics or anything, but it is what it is. HR had nothing in that beginning, though. That band is just completely dried out. It looks like, boy, PA could thump though, really, man. PA is definitely gonna thump. I think I think upstate New York is gonna make out fantastic in this event. You can see, just holding on to the cool air. Let's see if we can get a sound and pick up a sound in here. What do we got? Not bad. Not bad. Looks like some decent. That's a wet snow. That's a wet moderate snow is what that is right there. It's a real wet I still think we could thump more. I still think we could thump more with us. I mean, just it's rare. Listen, when you switch on these with cold air locked into place, and a dynamic upper level low with a transfer system like this in that southeast ridge with, southeast ridge is part of the general setup. But understand, the general setup applies to specific details, like being able to pull up warm air and a lot of moisture. Like we should have a good, excuse me, we should have a good consistent flow of warm air of moisture to be able to tap into with this system to help feed up into our snow. So I'd be shocked. I would be shocked when our transition happens that we are not thumping. Some of these snowman, it just makes. I mean, some of this stuff just makes zero sense. So it's not looking too far into the extended HRR in terms of how it's going to play out, but. And I really don't want all that rain after. I hope we can hold on to the cold air for longer. And honestly, we probably will. A lot of this will be like freezing rain, honestly, I think. And this may not even show up in the sounding, but yeah, you can see pull back over like at the very end. Almost skid. We're still 35 degrees. But you can see us pull back at the very end over the freezing line. So this would probably be this would almost be a sleet if we pulled back a little bit more. And the CAD is, being on if the CAD that's probably really mic sensitive, but sorry. But I think that it's underdoing it just a tad. Probably underdoing the CAD signature just a tad probably. If I had to guess, then they'll underdo it all the way up until the event. So we'll probably be able to hold on to the cold air a little bit longer than what models are showing, and they'll have to make up for it. Like let's go, for example. They may be already. Let's see my current temperature. I want the maps. No, pull up the map. Come on. Man, I used to look at this so much when I was a little kid. I used to look at this so much. This is 29, 30, 28. All right. So we're 28, we'll say 28 and a half right now. And what does HRR have us right now? $32. 4 degrees cooler already than what HR has us at. Yet we're getting warmer for some reason on all these runs. Yikes. Yikes for the HRR. I don't know how much to believe in that, but okay. Alrighty. Let's take a look at the extended range. Man, we're going up late tonight with this. I need a break, man. Don't get me wrong, I love this, but listen, because when I'm in it, I want to get through all my stuff too. I hate shortchanging people that like. There's probably a few people that watch these like almost full through. They probably skip some parts, but watch the whole things. And boy, this is a long stream. That person that's rewatching it back right now. And of course, a horrible run to look at. But that Southeast Ridge is just, we're not getting anything done. We're not going to get a lot done with the Southeast Ridge. The placement of that Southeast Ridge like that. Placement is too far west. It's too far west. So we're amplifying our flow way too much. So we'll see. So you're really going to need that cold air. We'll still have this shot right here. I think there'll be something to watch. Really wants to amplify the northern low right next to it. But there's a couple. It's like there's a couple vorts here, southern vort, and another piece that flies off the Pacific. You never know when you get a cutoff low this far south. That could be something to watch too. So that could definitely be something to watch too. This piece right here, if we can really lock in cold air, and then with the southeast ridge, just back off a little bit. Listen, buddy, we don't not asking you to go away, but just back off a little bit, right? Our space, we don't need you. Yeah, big time upper level low that comes on through. That one kind of gets suppressed, to be honest, but far enough. There's some cold air to work with. So there's a little bit of snow, but it's a little in between. Really pulling up a lot of warm air. What is this? That is such a subtle piece. So something to watch. That January 31st to February 3rd and 4th time frame. And there's another big system, something that dynamic has interior written, but that's so far out. That's not even worth getting over concerned about. Probably nothing too noteworthy. I'm not even going to bother to look at 500. I just want to look down the line at 500 on the euro. Honestly, we maybe even got it out here. And we do. So we can look at 500 on tidbits when we got to go through the whole shenanigan. Only up to hour 174, but regardless. Southeast Ridge big on the euro too, but how about compared to the GFS? It's a little bit more backed off on the euro. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for everyone that came in. Good chance we'll stream tomorrow night too, but we'll see. Good chance we stream tomorrow night as well. All right, thanks everybody who came in.